section, we're gonna stay low to the ground on our hands and knees, a low lunge, and we're gonna work our hips, trying to get loose in our hip area. So let's begin on all fours. So from all fours, we spread those fingers out wide. We get the knees and the hips in a line. Let's start by bringing one leg out behind us, lifting it up. And then we'll bring that knee up and into the chest. So we're placing that foot out there, knee into the chest. We can bring the nose into the knee. 2, and 1. Now we're going to take that knee and bring it out and up toward the armpit. Up toward the armpit, so we're squeezing through the side of the waist, keeping that leg lifted. Now let's alternate, so knee into the chest and knee out to the side. 2. And last one. Let's keep this leg lifted, pointing the toes to the ceiling and lifting that knee, kind of letting that foot drop toward the opposite side. Squaring the hips up, bringing both knees back to the floor. From that leg we were working with, let's bring it out in front. And both hands on either side of that front foot, and we'll start with a forward and back. If you have blocks, if you want blocks, you can just kind of set them here underneath your hands. Forward and back. Now let's bring our hands to the top of that leg. Let's drop in through this hip. So sliding this leg back a little bit, dropping here. Squeezing through the hips. Taking the opposite arm up. And a little side stretch. Bringing both hands above our head, reaching up and rooting down. And just a gentle twist. Lifting the front hand up, lifting the back hand up. Both hands down to the floor, and then bringing both hands to the inside of that leg, and we're going to move the knee forward and back. You can add some circling and changing direction. And keeping the foot straight on or at an angle, sliding that opposite knee back, placing the hand under the shoulder, letting the hand rest on that leg, feeling it across the hips, allowing some opening, and then you can just play around with the back foot, maybe lifting it up, reaching that hand back, reaching for that foot. Releasing out of that, both hands down, toe heeling the foot into the center, bringing that leg back and dropping it into child's pose. Forehead to the floor, to the backs of the hands, to the fists. A few breaths here to bring our focus back and to feel through the side we just worked. Lifting up onto all fours to get that other side. So with the foot back behind us, bringing that knee up toward the chest, nose in toward it. Squeezing all along that leg, controlling the movement. Taking that knee up and out, lifting it toward the armpit. 2, 1, alternating, center, and out. Center and out. One more. And that leg is back behind, bending at the knee and opening. Squaring the hip, bringing the knee down. You want to take that leg up in between the two hands. Forward and back. And then we'll bring our hands to the top of that leg, starting with the hands there as a support, feeling the stretch through the top of that hip flexor. One hand lifts, and take that side stretch. Into the center, both hands lifted. Turning for a twist. Lifting the front hand. Lifting the back hand. Into the center. Both hands down. We're going to toe heel. That foot to the outside so the two hands come in. Move that knee a little bit. Circle. Just moving in a way that feels right. Not overdoing it. Getting up into the hip. So we want to have good placement of that supporting hand. Foot can be straight on or at an angle. Resting that hand to that knee. Dropping into the hips, but squeezing at the same time. Back knee can turn and lift. Reaching back or finding that foot. Making sure to breathe. Releasing, hands to the floor, toe healing. Onto those knees, into our child's pose. And then one more move while we're here is pigeon pose. So the first knee from all four comes up toward the same wrist, but then that foot goes toward the opposite hand, and we slide that leg back. This can also be done on the back. Sitting up tall here, squeezing. Walking the hands out, bringing it to the forearms, and bringing that forehead toward the floor. The back toes can be turned under or the foot flat to the floor. Pressing the hands down, coming back onto all fours. Changing sides, so the knee comes toward the back of the same hand, but the foot goes toward the opposite. Let that foot slide back. Trying to feel level across the hips. And bringing the forearms to the floor. Closing the eyes. A few breaths. Lifting back up onto all fours, swinging it around onto our bottoms. Let's give a little shake of the legs, little sway. Let's close those eyes. Turning our focus in toward those hips. And this concludes this part of our hip opening session.